Hey Peeperoonies, KP here back with yet another video where I yap about my OCs. If you're new here, I do this a lot. It's kind of my thing. All this month I've been telling you all about the OCs that I have up on Artfight this year. And just a little spiel here. Artfight is in fact an art gifting and trading game held all through the month of July, and while it is almost over this year, it will probably be back next year. So it's never too late to join, and you can join for next year. Or even now, if you're okay with just like a week left. In today's video, the character theme is fan AU OCs. So these are OCs that I use for fan AU stuff. Now, I do want to say that all of my OCs do have their canon lore in my main story, but there's also some where I do spend a lot of time and effort into their AU variants. And these are the characters that I'm going to talk about in this video. I do want to keep the video kind of short, like hopefully sub 15 minutes, so we'll keep it all brief for this first section because there's a lot. If you want more content about the fan AU variants, I do have a fandom Tumblr and TikTok by Kizaru. That's the name, Kizaru221. So I'll also link them down below. And you can let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos about this kind of stuff if you're interested. That would let me know, and yeah, let's get into it. First, these are the characters that I went over in past videos, or I plan to cover in a later video, and I'm mostly just going to tell you their name and then what AU I use them for. Also, I'll try and mention what video I talked about them in or what video I plan to talk about them in. Characters from the first intro video was Pickle. She's my amazing digital circus AU OC. Although, I kind of view that one as more of a separate character. Then we have Pinky Bug. They have an MLP variant, but it's more so just like a background type of thing because Pinky Bug's sister, Busy Bee, is my MLP OC. And then for intro characters number 2, we have just Lydia. She's my Lego Ninjago OC or Lego Ninjago Dragons Rising OCs. And then for the couples video, we had Calypso and also Victory, kind of. Calypso is my Arcane OC, but also Calypso and Victory together are, I do add them into my Fantasy AU stories. Clover and Clementine are brand new animal or BNA OCs, particularly talking about the anime. Next are characters from my Fantasy video. We have my Street and Diaries OC, Kistrana or Rhodey. And then we have Morana. She is my Fira, Dragon Age, Overlord, the anime in particular, Dungeon Meshi OC. She's really just my main go-to for Fantasy World insert type of deals. Then we have Lacey. She's my Tales of Arcadia, particularly the Wizards one. She's that OC for that. We have Colette. She's my Siren's Lament OC. That's the first ever webtoon that I ever read to completion. I think it might be like, no, I've read 2 to completion. It's that one and one other. Liberty is another OC from Overlord, the anime in particular. Love her. And now we have my detective characters from the detective video. We have Pear. She's my Jurassic World OC, particularly talking about Camp Cretaceous and Chaos Theory. She's also a Bones and Archer OC and a little bit of an Arc OC. We have Winifred. Her and Pear are kind of my go-tos for detective and spies. So Fred is also in Bones, but I also use her in quite a few other crime shows and iZombie, because why not? Speaking of iZombie, we also have Bonnie. She's another iZombie OC, but also my Gotham OC. And last from this detective set is Eiley. She's my Unordinary OC, another webtoon. I probably use her for other stuff too, I just can't remember off the top of my head. And then we have my Apocalypse OCs from my Apocalypse OC video. We have Wilder. They are my Trimmers, Resident Evil, and Fallout OC, and really just any Apocalypse-based series. Next, we have Molly. Now, this one might seem a little bit odd since they're one of my Apocalypse OCs, but they're my Guardians OC. You know, like that kids movie based on the books? With the one with Jack Frost? Yeah, that's what she's for. We're almost done with the brief mentions. Almost all the Anthro characters from my Anthro OC video have an AU thing going on. So we have Joyce, she's my Rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles OC. Then we have Catmint, she's my Warrior Cats OC. Then we have Laradell, whom is my DuckTales, but also my Agresco OC. And sometimes, if I'm in a certain mood, she might be a Has-Been Hotel OC, when I feel like it. Cherries is my We Bear Bears OC. And sometimes she's also an amazing digital circus OC. Taylu is my Divas OC, and again, Divas is a stop-motion animation series by Doll Motion that I just adore. Okay, and from the last video that I posted, at least I'm hoping it'll be the last video that I posted, is Umika, but mainly Micah, as she is, here it comes, my Invincible OC, my Adventure Time OC. That also includes Fiona Cake. She's also an Umbrella Academy OC sometimes. Also, My Hero Academia OC, again, when I feel like it, and a Stranger Things OC, again, you guessed it, when I feel like it. We're gonna get to the characters that I'll cover in a later video. Quincy is my DC in general OC, but to be more specific, she's mainly used for like Batman stuff, but she's also my boys OC, and she's in my Invincible thing. Oh, and also sometimes she's in my Overlord, the anime AU, just when I feel like it. And we have Blanca, she's a Miraculous OC, when I feel like it, again, just sometimes. Poppy is my Umbrella Academy OC mostly, but sometimes I will use her in my Encanto AU, where her husband is the son of Bruno. So, you know, why not? And she's also sometimes a My Hero Academia OC. Mira is another DC OC, but she's also Marvel. She also kind of is an OC that I use before I figure out who I actually want to toss in there. And sometimes I use her for Umbrella Academy AU stuff as well. All of these guys will be in my Heroes video, and the guys that will be in the Sci-Fi video are Calliope and Sepia. They're both Star Trek and Orville OCs. Sepia is also a DC OC, because why not? And my OC Peyton is also a Star Trek OC. Now to the meat of the video. The lucky OCs I picked to actually talk about for the part where I actually tell you about the OCs. We'll start with my OC Maisie, as she is only used for like one thing mainly, but I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I do use her for two things, but it's mainly the Ghosts OC. The TV show, in particular the US version, Maisie is the daughter of a crime boss, and she has an older brother named Lawrence. I mentioned him in the couples video. She has been a child actress her whole life, basically from the age of 3 upwards, and she spent only a couple of her adult years acting before she just disappeared. She stopped going out because she developed a severe agoraphobia after the loss of her child, and she ends up dying in the house and is a ghost for the most of her story. And for the most part, it's the same across from her main story to the AU story, only difference being in the AU, she's in the main house that they all live in, and she is related to Sam, so her dead child's name also being Sam has more of an impact in that one. And sometimes I do use her as a Beverly Hillbillies OC. I don't know, it's like a comfort show for me. I just really like that show. And in that one, she would just be an actress and the daughter of Mr. Drysdale in that AU. She's not dead. Next is my Spider-Sona, Spider-Man OC. She's not really me, so I wouldn't say she's a Sona, but you know, you get the point. We have Priya. She is a princess in Tranquility City. There are more so just titles than actual power, and you do have to win an election in order to have power. It just so happens that most of the people that hold the majority of the seats are also members of this royal family, and Priya is expected to do the same, only one issue: she has Void. She developed Void when she was very young from a sickness, and she has to keep it hidden under her gloves and makeup because if the people found out, there could be problems. In the AU, Priya is not actually meant to be a Spider-Man variant. She is supposed to be a Venom variant, but after some dimensional shenanigans, her GF, Gwendolyn, or Gwen, you know what I'm getting at here, who was her world's spider person, was killed, and so Priya is forced to quickly learn to be her world's spider person to keep her home from being destroyed and crushed or, deleted. And now I have another Lego OC. This is Esperanza. She's also my Metal Family OC, which is a very fun show that I like that's on YouTube as well. Esperanza is the child of Lacey and Ren. Her mother goes missing when she is a young teen, and she starts to develop her powers around the same time, and she's scared of what this can mean for her. And she has to find out what happened to her mom, as well as a bunch of other missing people that worked for Guardian. And, it's a little bit similar in the Lego Ninjago Dragons Rising AU, but she, instead of with Ren, Lacey has a kid with Dorama, just because I like to tie things in. And after the merge, I think is the word, her mother is lost, and it's just her and her father Dorama, and she also starts to get her elemental powers, and in the start she would be a villain purely because she's just working with her dad and that's all she knows, but later she'll decide for herself that she doesn't want to be a villain and she'll join the ninjas, which will give her like a fun little bonding moment with Lloyd because his dad was also a villain. It'll just be super fun and super dynamic, okay? And we're getting closer to being done, chat, I promise. Next is Glamsy. I don't believe that I talked about her, although I could totally see me having already talked about her. She's in a great deal of AUs, but the main one being, for right now, is Suitor Armor, the webtoon, Glampsy is, just in general, she's born into a family that's almost all boys. Now, on first inspection, most people would assume that they either are just really lucky or they have some kind of spell or charm going on, but actually, it's a lot darker than that. They dispose any of the unwanted children. So this isn't just girls, this is also children that are born with traits that they don't want. So in this particular case, their family carries fairy traits, and they don't want certain fairy traits, they only want some fairy traits. So they do dispose of the children that have those certain fairy traits, as well as the girls, because the girls are more likely to develop their fairy traits, as fairies are an all-female race. Anyways, they're very cruel people, and yeah, they dispose of the children who they don't desire, but Glampsy's father, in her words, was too soft. Now Glampsy has to grow up as his firstborn son, Sir Hazel Witch. He de-winged his first fairy at the age of 6 and is the family's golden child, and everyone is just super proud of him, and it really helps that he's quiet, he listens well, and he's never gotten in any trouble over a girl. Glampsy, though, is very miserable, and she can't just leave this life because she has 2 younger sisters, and while they also have to pretend to be boys, they don't have as many eyes or pressures on them to keep this facade up, and if Glampsy goes away, then all that pressure will be faced onto them, and she's not sure that they could handle it. Glampsy has other secrets that are a little less obvious than this one. Her wing blade that she made with the first wings that she ever took was actually her own fairy wings. Because, she was born with some of those undesirable traits. And the method in which to make the wing blades maintain the fairy magic in the wings, it causes a severe amount of pain to the fairy. It's actually seen as more humane to put the fairy out of their misery if you do this, but obviously she can't do that, so she is in agonizing pain all of the time. In a lot of the AUs I use her for, the story is mostly the same, only for ones that don't have fairies, it's just that her family doesn't like women, and for ones where they have magic, it's because the women in the family pass down the magic, that type of thing. But for Suitor Armor AU, she is actually raised in the same household as the MC, because she's like the guard. She was bought or, rented, kind of, that kind of thing. But it's like being hired, only she has to work there, and she's been working there ever since she was a child, and she has no choice, she can't say no to it. And also, she's still expected to pretend to be Sir Hazel. She also knows all of their secrets, but they don't trust her because they think that she is a guy and she's part of this fairy hunting family. Drama. Next is my girl Echo. Now I hear you. Why was Echo not in the Anthro video? Well, that's because I just added her. Yeah, she's new. Well, not new. She's new to Artfight. Echo is my Kung Fu Panda OC, but also she's my See No Evil OC. If you know that series, you are a real one. That is another YouTube series that I very much love. Echo is a snow leopard, and she has a foresight ability that she has very little control over that allows her to see a couple seconds constantly all the time, and then for like greater events she gets dreams about it. Again, she has like no control over this. She is a very kind person, and she loves cleaning and dancing while she's cleaning, and she also has a people version, because why not? I don't have a preference for either or. If you want to draw the person version or the Anthro version, either or.
And yeah, this is gonna sound a little bit different because I have to record this after the fact. I somehow totally skipped over this guy. His name is Reese. He is my Jurassic Park OC, not Jurassic World OC, although he might play a part in Jurassic World. We'll see. He's Pear's uncle, and he has a fiance. Her name is Taffeta. He is a paleobiologist. He was invited to the original Jurassic Park for, that whole thing. So he was there. He was pretty full of himself at first, and then he gets pretty timid and jumpy. He doesn't really have his own separate thing right now, just because I did just make him last month. He's mostly just a Jurassic Park OC, but he will be having his own lore very soon. Very soon. But yeah, okay. Future KP out.
We're in the home stretch. Big stretching, guys. Prima is from a village of dragon hunters, and while in the main lore they also hunt other magical creatures, although they're mostly doing it as a form of tradition. and they never do it for profit. They only take what they need and they use every last bit. These are the principles that Prima holds true even after the devastating attack that left her orphaned and everyone in her village dead. Prima also happens to be my How to Train Your Dragon OC. She is a dragon hunter, and she butts heads with some of the bigger names in the dragon hunting sphere because of her beliefs. She also has this toxic on and off again fling with the berserker leader Dagger, although eventually they do end up breaking things off because Dagger wanted to get better and stop trying to get revenge on Hiccup, while Prima, she wasn't ready to get better or stop seeking vengeance for what happened to her people. Now, also, the next OC is also from this How to Train Your Dragon AU, but I do want to mention that this AU is quite in-depth and has a lot going on because it is a rewrite project that I'm doing with my friend, whom I will link down below, because his Artfight is up and he has some of the characters that we have in this rewrite up. And yeah, it would be super cool if in this last week you took that time to attack him maybe. That would be awesome. Okay, now Eska, my pretty girl. Eska is an artist who has a deep curiosity for dangerous and unknown things. She doesn't listen to her father when he says not to wander off and gets lost, and on her travels to try and get back home, she becomes burned and scarred, and every new mark causes her to become more reclusive and self-conscious. And in the How to Train Your Dragon AU, it's a little bit different, actually quite a lot different, and I have a lot of those details up on my Artfight. And again, it's very in-depth because of the rewrite project that we're working on together. She also has several different dragons, because why not? And that brings us to the next OC and the last OC, which is Turkey. My How to Train Your Dragon OC, but also Jurassic World OC, but also Ark OC, but what's this? Ghost OC? Yeah, folks, I'm circling back. She's also a Ghost OC. In the Ghost AU, though, she is human, so there's that. In most of the other ones, though, she is a Dilophosaur, or in the How to Train Your Dragon one, she happens to be a Speed Stinger. She has a sister named Dee in all of the stories where she's a dinosaur or a dragon, and the ones where she's a ghost. She was born in a small settlement village during colonial days. Her name was chosen in the non-zero chance that they needed to eat her to survive, because that was something that did happen on occasion back then. And they thought that her name being Turkey would be less of a mental toll on their minds if they did have to go that route. At least that was the logic behind it. Turkey does end up growing up to becoming an adult, guys. And she also has very uber long hair, which really definitely gives her princess vibes. She is bisexual. And back then, that probably would have been a bad thing. Let's be realistic. So I imagine that's probably what led to her death, is that she was being accused of being a no-do-gooder because of something she was caught doing with a lady or something. Or maybe in a journal, she was taking down notes or drawing pretty girls or something. Anyways, this leads to her hair being removed and then her being buried alive. Well, not all of her hair. She's got a funky bob now. And because of this, she spends most of her ghost life in the dirt. If you watch Ghosts of the US, then you may know what I'm talking about. And with that, I end the OC yapping. As for prep, I am going to be finishing a small batch of refs the night I am making this video, so with any luck, those will be done. But I don't want to have you guys sitting here for too long, so I am going to be wrapping up the video. If you want to support me and get your name at the end of my videos, you can become a Patreon member or a Ko-fi member. Those also give you access to exclusive commission opportunities and pre-claims, and on the higher tiers, you get art rewards and discounts on commissions. If you can't support me with money, that is okay. You can support me just by letting me know that you liked the video. You can do that by commenting what fandoms you have OCs for if you do, and liking the video. You can also subscribe if you aren't already, turn on notifications to know the next time that I post, which should hopefully be sooner rather than later, and until then, bye-bye!